What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. China is warning the United States and Taiwan here today. Take a look at this. China warns of, quote, resolute countermeasures if House Speaker Kevin McCarthy meets with the Taiwan president, who is making a trip here kind of across the globe and will be traveling and could travel to the U.S. China says, quote, China warned that it would take, quote, resolute countermeasures if Speaker Kevin McCarthy meets with the Taiwanese president Tsai Ing-wen as she passes through the U.S. during a trip to Central America. The Chinese spokesperson says, quote, we firmly oppose this and will take resolute countermeasures. They said before the Taiwanese president here. And the Chinese spokesman said the U.S. should, quote, refrain from arranging the Taiwanese president's visits and even contact with American officials and take concrete actions to fulfill its solemn commitment not to support Taiwan independence. Yeah, so basically China's now telling us that we can't even meet with presidents of other countries. Yeah. Here's what the Taiwan president has to say. Take a listen to this.
Taiwanese President Tsai Ing-wen hit a defiant note on Wednesday after China threatened retaliation if she met House Speaker Kevin McCarthy while transiting through the United States this week. She spoke at a Taiwan airport before leaving for the US.
Taiwan's determination to go global will only grow stronger. Taiwan is the world's Taiwan. Leading Taiwan to the world and bringing the world into Taiwan is an important goal of our administration. External pressure will not hinder our determination to go to the world. We're calm and confident, will neither yield nor provoke.
China, which claims democratically ruled Taiwan as its own territory, has repeatedly warned US officials not to meet Tsai, viewing it as support for the island's desire to be seen as a separate country. A spokesperson for China's Taiwan Affairs Office, Zhu Fenglian, told reporters that it would be, quote, another provocation that seriously violates the One China principle, harms China's sovereignty and territorial identity if Tsai were to have contact with McCarthy, adding that China, quote, firmly opposes this and will definitely take measures to resolutely fight back. China staged war games around Taiwan last August, when then US House Speaker Nancy Pelosi visited Taipei. Taiwan's armed forces have said they are keeping watch for any Chinese moves while Tsai is abroad. Tsai is going to Guatemala and Belize, transiting through New York first and Los Angeles on the way back. While not officially confirmed, she is expected to meet McCarthy while in California. Taiwanese presidents routinely pass through the United States while visiting diplomatic allies in Latin America, the Caribbean and the Pacific, which, although not official visits, are often used by both sides for high-level meetings.
Now, honestly, this reminds me of Russia. You know, Russia just takes over Crimea, and they're now trying to take over Ukraine. They also want to take over Belarus and Moldova. Plans have been leaked for that. And China considers Taiwan theirs, and I honestly wouldn't be surprised if we see this in the future. But Taiwan has their own president. They consider themselves an independent country. I mean, they literally have their own president. I mean, they're a separate country. Do you see a similarity here? And they're literally saying, do not meet with the U.S. government officials, presidents, House Speaker at all, or else there will be countermeasures just for meeting with heads of other officials, other countries. I mean, you can let me know your thoughts here. And this is the type of stuff that leads to huge little wars, right? Meanwhile, remember the Chinese president Xi just met with Putin in Russia, right? Now, Ukrainian President Zelensky is inviting Chinese President Xi to visit Ukraine. This will be very interesting because remember, the Chinese president in China tries to say that they remain neutral, right? That they're looking for peace and that they're not on either side here, right? So now President Zelensky is saying, I want you to come to Ukraine to see what has happened to our country. Here's what Ukrainian President Zelensky has to say. Take a listen. So President Zelensky wants the Chinese President Xi to come to Ukraine so he can see their victories in firsthand and see the how they've pushed back Russia. Now, of course, I don't really think this is an actual victory per se because Ukraine's country has literally been pummeled. And, I don't think that there's going to be any victor in the sense here, especially the people. In the end, I don't think, even if they come out victorious, if that even happens, right, the celebration would be short lived because at the end of the day, look at what has happened to their people and their country, if that even happens, right? And how long this war could go on is a literal nightmare. Literal nightmare. Yeah. And this is kind of the problem here with Russia. They're just literally not backing down, and they're just hammering at it over and over and over. And ultimately, that could be the key to success for Russia because they're not backing down. They're just going at it over and over and over. But on the other hand, this is Ukraine's country, so I don't know if they're going to exactly give up their country. And this is the problem with peace negotiations is that neither side is really willing to give up. And this is why peace negotiations really aren't even on the table because neither side wants to give up. Russia doesn't want to go home without taking over land of Ukraine, and Ukraine doesn't want to give up land. So there's really anybody that thinks that peace negotiations are even on the table at this point, they're not, because Russia's number one for peace negotiations are we want to take over Ukraine's land, part of their country. And Ukraine is this literally not a starter. So Ukraine's not going to give up their land, just like the U.S. wouldn't give up our land in this type of a situation. So I mean, you can let me know your thoughts here, but yeah, it's a tough situation, and I don't see a resolution here in the short term. We will see here. You can let me know your thoughts. Do you think the Chinese president who has been trying to negotiate a peace brokerage can do something here? You can let me know your thoughts. I think it'll be a slim chance, I think, at this point. But here we are in almost April already, 2023. Months just seem to be blown by. Imagine if you were in that country. Imagine if you were in Ukraine, literally a war zone, and just months and months were blowing by, and you were dealing with this. Yeah, it's and meanwhile, the U.S. is getting threats here. It seems by the week, by the month, we're getting threats from China, as you see in this video, threats from Russia, threats from North Korea, and we're getting attacks here. We just got an attack from in Syria from Iranian-based drones. I mean, it's unbelievable here what is actually happening here in our country and around the world. But nonetheless, I'll keep you up to date here in our country and or in our YouTube channel here. So if you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe down below. It's completely free to do so. Just click the subscribe button and the bell icon. And if you appreciate these videos, don't forget to hit the like button. So here's some videos you should watch next. The United Nations was just called upon for an emergency meeting. You can click this video here to see that. Or you can click here to see our newest video next. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.